The Winston Dramatic Show has been brought to you by Burlington Volkswagen, located at 4500 Route 130 in Burlington, New Jersey. At Burlington VW, we have some respectfully dope cars to ring the bell for. Check out the new ID4 Pro all electric V with navigation, the Atlas, which is a smooth SUV, and the Tiguan, which is a rugged crossover, and more. Feel free to stop by and check out the specials that we offer at Burlington VW. Whether you need a new car, a leased car, or a pre owned V, be sure to holler at AJ or Syed. Make sure you tell them that Winston Dramatic sent you.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's happening? What's going on with the show? I haven't been on for maybe a week or so, but I'm back. And you know, I always have the most interesting guests when I come in. You know, this show is a great show that I have for you today. It's a great show for people who don't know. But if you're into certain businesses, certain paperwork, divorce, criminal, Terrence Livingston, what's good? Criminal, we're gonna get into that. I have to make my introduction to you guys. And how's your night going so far? Monday nights are the night now. No more Sunday nights. I don't do it Sunday nights anymore. I do it Monday nights and Wednesday nights. All right, 2 times a week. You know what I mean? So let me turn my music down a little bit. This here is a great show right here. I like this. I like the content of this show. I need you guys to probably tune in more. If you grab this from your end on YouTube or Facebook, please share. You know what I mean? Because this is for people who maybe you're in a criminal case. You know what I mean? Maybe you're in a criminal case and you need a way out. You need help. You know what I mean? Or maybe you're into a musical contract. I don't know if he do this or not, but I think he do. But maybe you're into a musical contract that you're trying to get out of, and my guy will definitely help you. You know what I mean? So, but throughout the city of Trenton so far, there was a few things happening throughout the city. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I just need the people to be more alert of things that's happening in the city, and also speak to your kids. School started the other day. You know what I mean? School started back. Speak to the kids. You know what I mean? Parents, you have to be more parents to try to stop the killings and things like that. We're not trying to really. It's too small for that. The city isn't a big city where it can be. You know, it's a broader murder, like a murder capital. It's not cool. You know what I mean? Taking a lot of people's children's fathers away. It's not good. You know what I mean? I had to speak on it because it was somebody that was close, a friend of mine, and something happened to him. But we're gonna get into this right now. I have my attorney, Jonathan Sobel, in the house with me tonight. You can add him, man. You know what I mean? What's up, Mr. Sobel? How you doing? Yeah, you gotta unmute it. Unmute your unmute it. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Unmute. I hear you now.
There it is.
There it is, right there. Yeah, you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah,
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm well. How you doing, sir? What's going on? How you
pretty
feel?
good.
I haven't spoke to you in maybe a few years, but
that's good.
I guess Paul have, because he have you here right now. You know what I mean? But
yeah, everything is good. Everything is good.
What's new with you? What's happening? What's going on in the lawyer world? You know what I mean? In the world of law, what's changing? We're gonna get into a few things, a few questions, but I want you to carry it. I kind of want you to carry it. I want you to talk. You know what I mean? Because I know, you know, you've been through some different courtrooms. I heard that you know my mayor, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
I heard that you know my mayor, you know. But what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Everything is good. Let me introduce myself.
Yes.
Right. My name is Jonathan Sobel. I'm an attorney in Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
Yes.
Um, I've been a lawyer for 28 years. Uh, Born and raised in Philly.
Right.
Went to Temple undergrad, Widener
Right.
Law School. Graduated
How
with
many?
honors.
How many years of law? How many years of law?
Undergrad was 4. Law school was
Right.
3.
Right.
Yeah. Got out. Did some working for a judge. Did
Mhm.
some working at different firms, and then went on my own since about 17 years.
17 years, right?
Yep.
Wow. Let me
Yep.
ring the bell for you. All right. You're first of all, you're official Temple Owl, right? You're an official Temple Owl.
No doubt. No
Yeah,
doubt.
you like the the Owls basketball, Owls football right now. And they play Miami this week, so I'm not sure how they're gonna turn out. I hope they turn out okay. I hope they turn out all right. But yeah, man. So you've been doing it what, nearly 30 years you've been in this business, man.
Almost. Yeah. 2 more years will be 30.
Wow. How you like it? Like how you
Most days are good. Most
yeah.
days are good. I tell
And do you,
people. I tell people that it would be great if you didn't have to deal with the clients, but that's part of the job.
the clients are bad.
They're tough. They're tough, but they they want what they want. They may not always get what they want, but they know what they want.
Right, right. What you deal with you deal with the whole state of New Jersey, the whole state of Pennsylvania as well, right?
Yes, sir. Up and
So
down.
you've been to Pittsburgh and Harrisburg, because we on the other side. For those that's watching, we on the inside of New Jersey. So if somebody hire you, you go way to Pittsburgh, or
I've been out. I've been out as far as Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Been as far down as Salem. Been as far
yeah,
north as Bergen.
Bergen, yeah,
Yeah,
you all over the place.
all over.
Wow, wow. What's one of the most difficult cases have you been have you worked in? What's one of the most difficult cases? And did you win it?
It's always difficult representing people in criminal cases because
Right,
um, ultimately, if they lose, they're going to lose their freedom.
right,
So those
right,
cases are very difficult, and they're they pull at your heartstrings sometimes. People are
right,
taken away from their loved ones.
right,
Uh, Children, they're taken away from their children, their parents.
right,
So you see somebody that has a lot of family support, and the family has to say goodbye to them for a while.
right.
Very tough.
Difficult,
Yeah,
right,
and I've seen people, clients, overdose and pass away, and that's part of it too. And if I don't do just criminal, I do some domestic, and those
right.
situations are difficult too for custody reasons and divorce and
Yeah. So hold on. You're saying all right. Say a case was going right. A case was going, and while the case was going, the person you represented overdosed, something like that. Like they overdosed, and then the case. So what happened if the case, if they overdose or something happened to them? Like what happened?
well, it's called an abatement when somebody dies while their case is pending.
Right.
Just the prosecutor will ask for some sort of proof that the person passed away, and then the case just disappears.
It just damn. It just they exit out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
seen that plenty of times? Have you seen that?
I've seen it more than I would like to.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for you to see that, man. How about How about all right? How about drug cases? How about drug cases? What's up with? Have you seen what situations have you been
every day I'm in court for drug cases. Every day. It's usually, the people that are selling drugs on the street corners.
Right.
Um, and, you get to know the police, you get to know the prosecutors, and it's always the same stories. The cops are doing surveillance on a corner.
Right.
You see hand-to-hand transactions. They stop the buyer. Then eventually they come and they stop the sellers.
Right.
And it can be anything from they're still arresting people for selling marijuana.
Yeah.
Could be crack. It could be soft. Could be
Yeah.
heroin. Could be fentanyl.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Have anybody ever beat a fentanyl case in these days? The reason I ask that because it's so popular. Right now, fentanyl is just really popular. I see it on the news and different conversations.
You
Have you
beat
ever beat it?
sometimes you beat cases for the wrong reasons. Maybe the
Oh,
officer doesn't show up. You beat it.
right, right,
Maybe the cops did something illegal or unconstitutional,
right.
and you can beat it and get the case thrown out. Really, not really a win, but
Yeah, but it gets them more.
it gets them off. But these are people that are continuing to reoffend,
Right, right, right.
and there's such a scourge in Philadelphia with fentanyl that it's
That's what I was
very,
gonna
very
ask.
depressing.
The state of Pennsylvania is heavier, maybe heavier than New Jersey, right? And maybe heavier than New Jersey in the fentanyl cases.
I,
Um, is it?
Yeah, I would say so. There's sections of the city that they're just open air markets. They're just
Yeah.
right on the street in front of everybody. And I had one case the other day, and it wasn't fentanyl, but he's yelling. They said that my client or one of the co-defendants was yelling ice, ice, ice.
Ice. Yeah.
I mean, that's something new. That's even more extreme in some
Yeah.
examples than.
Right. Right.
So it's all over. It's North Philly, it's West Philly, it's Southwest.
Right.
It's
How do they with the open market when I ride under the bridge? What's that? The train in
the
Philly
L,
under
the L.
yeah, the L train. Yeah, when I ride under there, yo, it's ridiculous. I've never seen nothing like that in my life, right? But it's so open market. So that mean everything happened down there more than just the drugs. Like it's uh maybe dead killings, murders, XYZ,
Prostitution. There's theft.
prostitution. Yeah.
Gun
Yes.
guns. It's just
Yes.
off the hook.
And they just let it can go down like that.
Well, there's only so many police and only so many people they can arrest.
Right.
And what happens ultimately in a lot of cases, you arrest somebody for a gun case and the cop doesn't show up for court and the case gets thrown out.
Simple. Yeah, simple, right?
Yeah. And
That's the
a lot of people, they get arrested for a gun, they get prosecuted, they do, maybe they do some county time and then they're back out and they got another gun.
right. Right. My
Just
friend Ada Johnson said, has there been a case um that you tried that still haunts you to this day?
well, a lot of the cases, you have to understand. I can sympathize with the defendants and their families a lot. I can appreciate
Right.
that, but I also have to think about the victims too, and how certain crimes impact victims. Right.
Balance, like a certain balance.
I do a lot of sexual assault cases, things like that.
I didn't
And
know you did all. I didn't know. I didn't know you did all that.
yeah, and the way that some people are just taken advantage of by other people
Right.
and abused.
Right.
It's disturbing. It really is.
Yeah, you seen that. You seen a lot of that, didn't you?
Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on, and unfortunately, sometimes it's not reported. Sometimes it is reported, but sometimes the witnesses still don't come in those cases sometimes, and sometimes when they do, juries may not necessarily believe them, and
Right.
it's just something that sticks with you for your
Rest of your
life.
life.
Something happens to you
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
Yeah. So it's you have to have some sympathy for the defendants, but at the same time, you have victims that are sympathetic as well.
Right. Right. You think so? You think most of the victims are scared, like usually to come to court because yeah,
I
but any
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. Sometimes the people are back together,
right,
and they decide, well, I'm not going to go testify against him. I need him. I need him for support, or I need him to pay for my family. I need them to. I need him to help me.
right,
So I may have been hot-headed the night that it happened, and now I've changed my mind. So I'm not going to come to court 3 times. The case gets thrown out, right?
right, right.
Um, But that usually the more serious cases are people that don't necessarily know each other, that,
Yeah,
it's like stranger rape or something along
right.
those.
So these guys are really sick mentally who do some of these things. I mean, you've seen them, or did they have to go to get any help, like go to get any mental help, or they'll do
Well,
their
that's it.
time?
When if someone's convicted of a sex crime, it's gonna have, offender treatment while they're in custody.
Right,
Doesn't happen much before they go in.
right.
That's probably where it should probably start much sooner
Yeah,
than that.
before they go. Yeah, but all this treatment stuff is new though, isn't it? Like it's a newer. I'm talking about when I say new, like it's not the 90s or the 80s. 80s probably it didn't exist treatment,
Yeah.
for a sex. And they throw them in the garbage, like just
Right,
dump him in
right,
the cell, and people will destroy him, or that's the
right,
treatment. Now
right.
it's a little different, and you know what I mean. And I'm like, yo, who created that? Like that's a deep, because you got to get into their psyche, into the person's psyche. And if a person is a certain age, right, then it's kind of hard to get into his or her psyche at a certain age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind
It
of
would be
hard.
it would be great if it could happen before the crime happens, but
Yeah,
for some reason, either people don't want to admit it or the people that are close to them don't recognize it,
right,
and they go down a path of just self-destruction and taking other people with them.
right, right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, and you also do federal.
I do
You're also a
federal work.
federal.
I do.
Yeah, you work across state lines. You go back and forth. A lot of people should know he do federal. He's a federal attorney as well. Is it more complicated in the Fed system, or
I'd say they do their homework a little better than the, local police. They
yeah,
they have all their ducks in a row before they even
right before they
indict
come out?
somebody.
Right,
Cases are bigger,
right,
time is usually greater,
right,
and, those are they're difficult cases, and from a paper standpoint, there's much more paperwork that they have, videos, more
right,
investigation.
right,
They really have it together, so it makes those cases very difficult to try.
right,
And in the federal system, a lot of I would say 95% of the cases result in pleas, maybe
yeah,
5% are in trial,
right.
and,
So they'll get it before they'll get them to submit before they'll get the person to submit before it goes to trial.
yeah.
Have you ever been to trial, and have you ever won a federal trial?
Yeah, I've been to federal trial a couple times. Winning is, getting something dismissed, right?
Right. Yeah. Something like right.
Yeah,
But
that's
that's a
happened
win.
happened.
Right.
But you also have to understand that if you're a juror in a typical state court case, let's say your case is in, Mercer County, You're
Right.
really pulling. You're pulling from Trenton. You're pulling from Ewing. You're pulling from those surrounding areas. But if you got a case in federal court and it's in Trenton, you're pulling from all
Any
over.
county. Yeah, any county.
Yeah. So you're not getting the same jury pool.
Right. Right.
Same thing in Philadelphia. You try a case in federal court in Philadelphia, you're pulling from Bucks, Chester, Delaware, Lehigh, and those people don't have the um, inclination to put up with somebody's nonsense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Philadelphia
Right. Right.
understand a little more, but
Yeah.
if you're out in the county, you're not going to understand why somebody has 5 kilos of coke and they're
Right.
selling it and they're getting it from Mexico and it's coming over here and then they're putting it out on the street and
Right.
they're not going to
Right.
get that. Philly, it's a little more understandable. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but
It's a little lenient in Philadelphia, isn't it?
yes, yes.
Too
It-
almost too lenient. Yeah, almost too lenient. Is it a is Philly a sanctioned city, sanctionary city?
I
They
think
are.
it is considered a sanctuary city. Yeah,
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 like New York is how New York is,
right, right.
and also right. And you just mentioned how things come from Mexico and into the states and into these sanctuary cities. I, I'm gonna ask Paul's question in a minute because I had to address him. But so with the immigrants that's here now, that's coming, they're forcing them into the cities. Do you think it's going to be a bigger turmoil than it is right now? You think it's going to turn and even be more, or
I'd like to hope that it won't be. The problem is you're bringing people in who have nothing. So
right,
what are they going? So the theory is, well, they're going to go out and rob people or steal to try to get
right,
money. I don't know if I buy into that much because
right,
a lot of people came into this country as immigrants,
right? Absolutely,
and a lot of them built successful lives here, and maybe that can happen. But
right,
I don't know. There may be a problem with the way that they're doing this mass type of migration.
right.
Um, I think the problem is the people that are here are
Yeah,
the ones
already. Yeah, right,
they're the ones
right,
committing the crimes,
right.
right? An immigrant's not going to come here and start selling drugs. I don't think.
Nah, nah.
Yeah,
How about some of them are mules though? How about some of them are mules?
they could
You
be,
think?
but
But it's
it's yeah. I think that those people are people that are already. If they're doing that, they're in their country doing it, and now they're coming
right.
here to do it. They're not coming over as in mass migration. I think that's
Oh,
more of a
okay. Like that.
planned, structured type of situation.
Right, right. Okay, I'm gonna ask Paul's question. I got a couple of, I have my own
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
questions. I'm like, and I'm just talking with you. He says, what can we do to if we encounter a constitutional violation by police officers?
Well, if you have a situation where you believe that the police have done something unconstitutional to you, there's two aspects to that. One is criminal, one is civil. So if you have
Yes,
a criminal case, you raise that as an issue, and it's up to the judge whether they'll throw out whatever evidence the police may have seized unconstitutionally. But if
right.
somebody, but if there's no criminal case and you believe, let's say, the police profiled you or pulled you over without probable cause and took you out of the car and put a gun to your head or something like that, that's civil, and then you can sue them for civil rights violations.
Yeah. How much would that pay up to though?
Depends what your damages are,
Yo, what's
right?
the most you ever seen from something so minor?
Well, I just had a case I helped another lawyer with in Delaware actually,
Yeah,
and the situation was the guy was sleeping in his car, and the police
right,
were patrolling a high crime area, so they thought maybe he had
right.
stolen the car. The guy just
Mm,
was startled. He was maybe smoking in his car, started to drive away while the police were still there. Comes
right.
around they ultimately they get him in a cul-de-sac, so he can't get out. Then he drives away, and the police say, "Well, he was driving in us," so they just shoot him and kill him. right?
Oh
This is
man.
this is in
Yeah.
Wilmington. So now the guy's
Yeah.
dead. So the question is, first, are the police at fault, or are they, or would they reasonably believe that the guy was going to drive at them or run them
Right.
over? If they did, and somebody believes that that was reasonable, then he gets 0, right? But
Right.
if they didn't, then then you have to look at what the value of the guy's life would be, and that case ultimately settled for probably 7 figures.
Right.
Uh, but I don't know. I wouldn't trade my life for 7 figures.
Figures. Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's like, yeah. That's, come on. Yeah. We want to live.
But
We want.
it was basically an execution.
Yeah. Yeah. They just plain out killed him
Yeah,
because they thought he was a bum or something, like low. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's horrible. And you do see a lot of cases like this though. Police
There are,
brutality.
right,
Um,
right.
what is your worst? And I don't want you to go against any police, but who do you battle with the most police forces in New Jersey or in Pennsylvania? Who gives you a hard time, if any? You know what I mean? Who gives you a hard time?
Well, I do
Can you
a
name?
significant amount of work in Philadelphia, so I get to know the police officers and there. And
Right,
I would say not all of them are bad people. I
right,
mean,
absolutely.
there was a shooting quite recently of a young man in Philly, and
Right,
the police officer, I don't know what happened. The guy got out of the car, and the cop just shot him. They said
right.
maybe he had a gun, maybe he didn't, but they just charged that police officer with murder in
Wow.
Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not on the news. You know that, right? It's not on the news. And I watch ABC and every night. I watch it every night, but it's not on the news. It's not on the news. They
yeah.
killed the man.
He uh,
Yeah.
he got charged with murder, and ultimately,
Oh,
ultimately,
yes, yes, I did see that. I'm sorry, I did see that. Yes, he got. So they fired him, didn't they? Did they fire him?
yeah, they fired him. But the interesting thing is, they set bail for him after he got arrested, and the FOP, the Fraternal Order Police, they posted the
Right.
bail for
Oh, yeah, they did. They get him out. I mean,
him.
yeah, that's the organization. And there may be a few watching here. What's up, guys? I mean, I don't want to create any with my guy. You're my guy, so I don't want him to really. I know you could protect yourself, but you know, um, I know you
But
could really
I
protect
would
yourself.
say state troopers are a little more vigilant
Yeah,
than the locals.
they're more detailed. They're more detailed, almost like federal. How
Yeah,
the federal system is.
yeah.
Right. Ada Johnson asked, from a legal standpoint, how can the community do more to help prevent the youth from getting caught up in the prison pipeline? Can you?
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to start at home. I've
Right.
represented
Absolutely.
I've represented a lot of juveniles, and even adults that have juvenile records, that you just see it's a progression of things over time. It's a lot of times I'll see people that will get placed as
Right.
juveniles.
Right.
They'll get out, start committing crimes as adults.
Right.
Um, I don't think that placement is the answer, because I haven't seen anybody that's really come out of that with a great experience.
Right.
But even before that, there just has to be more education, or discipline, or parenting that
Yeah.
has to come into play before these kids can just start just acting out. There was a
Right.
case there was a case recently, not recently, maybe within a year, where a bunch of juveniles beat an old man with a one of those pylons from the.
Yeah. Yeah. I seen that. I seen that.
So how do 13, 14 year olds, how are they out at 3 in the morning? How do they have such hatred already? How,
Absolutely.
where does that come from? And
Right.
and if you can cut it off before you get to that point, then I think that's half the battle.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I believe so too. It starts at home. Yeah. It starts at home.
But
And
people, but a lot of times, if you're looking for help even with respect to the juvenile system, if you're looking for help from the court, they're just going to give you programs and say, well, it's up to you if you want to do them. But once you get into that placement, it's like being
right,
in jail.
yeah,
It's like now you're indoctrinated in that, and that's the life that you know, and uh, it's very difficult to get out.
it's a pipeline from you saying from a real young age. Like it's a pipeline. If you're not set right, they'll go down that line. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep, yep.
Juveniles with guns. I mean, where does that
Right.
come?
Yeah.
What would possess you to what would possess you to get a firearm when you're even at any age, but you can't get
Right.
one till you're 21.
Right.
You can't carry one in New Jersey, very
Right.
rarely.
Is it
Philly,
are they did New Jersey change? Are they changing where you can carry? They starting to
they're
change where
start,
you can carry.
yeah, they're starting to ease up. They're starting to ease
Yeah.
up.
And why is
But
that? It's wild out here. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And you see how Philly is and Pennsylvania can carry, right? They can
New
carry.
Jersey had one of the strictest gun laws and
Yeah.
there was a case that came out in New York that said they had the same gun laws as New York, and a case came out in New York. They said it was too strict, so that they had to ease it up. But I don't expect to see a spike in gun crimes in New Jersey because of that, because they're still very strict, even
Right.
meeting the requirements to get the firearm.
Right.
Um, so hopefully that will make people less inclined to try to get
Guns.
guns. Yeah,
Yeah. It's just way too many out here. It's just so many. And I don't know how. I don't know really. Well, I don't know how, but I know they do have gun shows in Pennsylvania, and maybe
yeah.
some of them could come over the bridge because we're right here. You know what I mean? Keisha Craig, what's going on? Donald Cruz, what's up? Annette Artigue, how you doing? He says, my guy Donald Cruz says, where do the youths get their hands on military type weapons?
That's funny. I have a case now where the
You
child
do have
they
them?
I have a case now. He just turned 18, but
Yeah.
they caught him with a machine gun.
Wow.
A machine gun. An 18-year-old with a machine gun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just crazy. They just get him on the streets and he's carrying it, and they have video of it.
Right,
It's
right.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And why would you
And
need a machine?
yeah, machine gun. Yeah, that's something that's military for the
Yeah,
military, right? Yeah, but they in the street with that. Yeah, they out here in
yeah,
the street. I
yeah.
mean, civil people trying to tie civil people up mentally and kill them. They're trying to really
Right.
kill people. It's crazy. I mean, but we
Yeah.
gotta be you gotta be careful. Um, I was going into divorce because I know you do divorce. Why are you all over the place like this? What's going on, man? You in municipal? I'm gonna ask you about municipal next, but I want
Yeah.
to go into a little bit into divorce. What is the deal with that? And I know you have a case at this moment. What's going on?
Well, I have a number. I represent a number of people in domestic situations. It could be divorce. It could be custody. It could be child support,
Right?
alimony. All these things. I don't know. It just seems like maybe it picked up after COVID a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, People spending too much time together.
Right. They breaking up already.
But New Jersey has made it fairly easy to get a divorce if both sides can agree mostly.
Right.
Pennsylvania, same thing.
Right.
The more complicated issues come in when there's custody issues and visitation and divorce when there's a lot of money to be divided or property to be divided.
Right.
That further complicates things. But New Jersey, if both sides generally agree, you can get a divorce done within 3 months.
How much? I want to ask you direct questions. How much do it cost? How much do it cost?
If
But
it's a divorce, if it's something like that, a divorce like that, you got to understand a lot of the costs are paying court to file it.
fees, yeah,
In Jersey, it's about $400 to file for divorce.
yeah,
So sometimes you see people signs, oh, you know, $400 for a divorce, right?
yeah. That's what I seen coming like all these years. Like, yeah, $400,
Right,
$399. Yeah,
right. So 99, but he doesn't tell you got to pay for the divorce too, which
right,
now you're closer to a stack, 1,000. But you can do that, I guess, if you have the volume, right? It doesn't
right,
pay if you don't if you're only doing a handful of them to charge that. Because
right,
usually in New Jersey they make you go for a court appearance, so you have to do that, and you're doing all the paperwork and everything. So
right.
if if somebody can get 399, God bless them. But
Yeah, they
your
paying
typical
more.
lawyer is going to charge you more than that.
Wow. Is it? Do you think it's a good thing to get married? Is it a good thing to get married? It's a business. Keep it 100 though. Keep it a buck. I know it's a business. It is it a good thing for like say a civil person, a balanced minded person, somebody that wants like yo, I want a wife, or she's like yo, I want a husband. And is it really worth it as much? I mean, but give your honest opinion because this is some people may take it personal, like you know they might
I think
take it personal.
I think there's pros and cons. I mean, it's good to have that that relationship. I mean, that's how you were brought up.
Right.
That's how you see a man and a woman. They get married. They join together, and I think it's easier to raise kids that way.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And
That's right.
you're pooling your money. You have your children with you, and so I and there's benefits obviously with healthcare and things like that. And God forbid
Right.
one party dies, the other one is taken care of somewhat.
Right. Right.
Um, but sometimes it can be a bad deal, you know.
Right.
But you don't know until
Right.
until
He said a
you know.
bad deal. You think these days though, the days like today, 2023, opposed to 1980 or 1978 in the 70s, 80s, maybe the early 90s. You know what I mean? You think is it is it a bad time for somebody young or like you said, you're right. Kids if they have kids involved, it is a good thing. It is a good thing to raise the children. But it's just so everybody is so cutthroat today. It just seemed like it's a more cutthroat season, like it's more cutthroat. And people are intentional. But for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know why. Today is just a different day. So
I think the concept of marriage is I think it's the same as it was. I think
is it?
that the stability and being able to count on somebody. I think that's always been the
Right, right. That's how we supposed to be naturally, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's natural. But it's just so much. It's goes so many ways. And I know you've seen plenty of different cases. You've seen plenty of cases where it went this way and it went that way. It went so many different ways. Diesel Therapeutics asks, do you think that the educational level affects the level of policing or decision making skills made by municipal, county officers, etc.? I have found that the state troopers that I have encountered are more poised, calm, less reactive. I know that educational requirements, training, and age are factors in hiring them. Do you see a difference in the two?
I think that's a good question. On the local level, obviously the police officers aren't as polished. They're
Right,
not. They're not. I don't think the training is there. The education is there, simply
right,
because they don't have the time or maybe the money. Um, State troopers are, they're the cream of the crop, so they think.
right,
Uh, but I think education, just like education with children and other things like that. I think that's critically important for police officers, how to diffuse a situation,
Right.
um, reacting in the appropriate way. Um, just think it all comes down to education, and you have to hire the right people too.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right.
Um, a lot of that is background and making sure that these people are cut out for the job. I mean, I'm sure it's a very stressful job.
Right. Right. Do you think the city levels will ever be that technical where they'll start to hire and train to be more technical in inner cities, because in inner city like the inner cities, because we since state troopers are more poised and they are more technical detailed, right? They're detailed in training. um will city and county start to hire? Well, I think county is a little higher, but city police maybe not as detailed as those technical as those other
Yeah.
guys. Do you think it'll
If you
start maybe soon because they're killing guys, or you know what I mean? You think so, or no?
I think
It's just too much to handle.
if you look at let's look at Camden, Trenton, Newark, right, as
Right,
three metropolitan urban cities, and then you look at like Princeton, or you look at
right,
Short Hills, New Jersey, or you look at
yes,
Fort Heath.
right,
There's such a dichotomy in the people and the police and in the way they police.
yeah,
It's it has to start it has to start from the police themselves. I think the mentality has to change. I think
right,
I just think that policing has to change somewhat in these
yeah,
in these.
yeah, right. You've seen a
Yeah,
lot too. You've seen it. You've seen a lot. You have, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
for y'all, all y'all city police chiefs or whoever does the training, we got to get more technical. Take pointers from the bigger guys, the federal and the county level. That's what we're
Yeah.
saying now. You know what I mean? Don't treat us crazy. You know what I mean? Take pointers. You know what I mean? But we're back to divorce. Back back to divorce. There's a lot of people on here that saying they saying no. My friend Annette Ortiz says marriage is good. She said it. She's saying it's only a problem when people get married for looks and money, and it never ends well. And never ends well, and it will end is what she's saying. Ada Johnson says marriage isn't bad. It will always be good. We just marry for reasons or ignore the red flags that when they're dating. Mr. Mark Broach, what's going on? He said, what would be the alternative? Marriage is often viewed from negative examples, but there are some good marriages, absolutely. Sir LaCooley says, is it any way to bring a confidential informant to the forefront rather rather than just going to trial? That's
Hmm.
the question to you.
The interesting thing is that in most cases, in most jurisdictions, if they're using a confidential informant, they don't have to produce that informant.
They
The
don't.
police no, the police can simply testify that I used this confidential informant before. He's proved to be reliable. And a lot of times the police will watch as the confidential informant makes purchases and then comes
Oh,
back, gives them. So the courts don't require in those situations that the confidential informant's identity be disclosed. Very difficult to get a CI's identity disclosed. Very
wow.
difficult.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought they had to, and I thought they had to disclose it, and you'll see it in the paperwork, something like that.
No,
He said,
and
eh,
and in the federal system, if somebody is cooperating,
right,
sometimes but if you don't find out until maybe 2 weeks before trial.
So, all right, I'm gonna ask you a question real quick after this one. This one versus his question. He said, so can it be made up? He's saying, can they just create something and say a confidential informant, like a creation, a lie? Actually, is what he's saying.
Well, what happens is, I mean, there's a little more that goes into it. They have the CI has a number. They'll
Yeah,
give the CI marked money. So they'll have the photocopies of money. They'll have the markings on it. The
right,
CI will purchase something and get served. Whatever he gets served with, they bring that back to the police. And
right.
then sometimes the person will get arrested right after that. If that is, then they'll have the marked money on them and they'll have the same drugs that match what the CI
Oh,
has.
that okay.
So
Yeah, tie it in.
in those situations, it's not really a credibility issue. And usually, if they're using a confidential informant or a confidential source, they'll tell you. They'll tell you they're using it. They just necessarily make it up because the police themselves could be confidential informant. They could go in plain clothes and purchase drugs
Right,
just as easy. And if
right.
if the seller sells to them, then yeah.
Wow. Okay. Ada Johnson says, did y'all not watch The Wire? Yeah, it was. Mark Broach says, there are codes that govern police force that make constant training mandatory. Yeah, we should have that in the cities.
Yeah.
Camden. Is Camden still crazy bad like it was before? Is it?
I think it's getting a little better.
It's changing,
I
right?
think there's a big police presence in Camden, I think.
Right,
There's still crime. There's always going to be crime, but
right.
hopefully not as many murders.
Yeah, yeah. That's the big thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Sir
They have that
Lee said they're
they have that thing in Camden with I don't know if they call it shot spot or whatever, but whenever gunfire goes off, the police find out about it right away and
I think they have that here.
do
I
they?
think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think they have it everywhere. It's almost like a facial recognition, almost like
Yeah.
facial recognition. So they see what happened. You know, somebody sees it.
Right.
Missing that says whenever a director or chief comes on board and attempts to train at a different higher level, the unions protest. So you go against all this stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shot spotter. You do. So you battled with unions. You battle with the unions and stuff like that too.
I have, yeah. Yeah.
Yo, you all over the place. You-
I don't like to turn anybody away.
I know. That's the business you're in. Civil, right? All right, we're gonna go into civil, right? You do because you do civil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have done it here in Mercer County as well, haven't you?
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, you have. So you're familiar with a few guys here in Mercer County. In Mercer County.
Sure. Civil can be anything from personal injury, car
Right,
accidents, fall
right,
downs,
right.
to breach of contracts, to anything, business disputes, real estate,
Motor
litigation,
vehicle.
motor vehicle. Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. All right. So how do you do federal? How do you do so high and so low? So you do you hustle you hustle everywhere. Like you in that law. You in there. Have you ever lost the case where you like have you lost the case? You never lost the case. Well,
Ever?
that's a part of the game. That's a part of the game. But I'm just asking you, you know what I mean? And also Charity Lee says, which cases
uh,
do you handle the most?
I
Yeah,
know
which
her.
case? Yeah, you know of her. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know that lady.
I'd
He said,
say
what?
more criminal than civil.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would say maybe 65-35, 70-30, something like that.
okay.
Yeah.
Every day you get up every day and you go in somebody's courtroom to battle something criminal mainly.
Usually every day I'm in court. Yeah. And it can
Every,
be I could be in municipal court in Trenton doing a traffic
Yeah.
ticket, and then later in the day I can be in federal court in Newark representing the guy with the machine gun.
Wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. But you do have a team though. But I seen you by yourself, man. I seen you by yourself, and I'm like, yo, he worked crazy hard. You doing? I'm like, who do you have helping you study? Because you have to study these cases in order to win. You do have a team, right? 2 officers.
I do. I have some people that I work with, some other lawyers. They help me out sometimes, and it's a good situation. It works out well.
Right, right. And as for you said you're in Camden and you're in Newark and you're in Philly, so you're in major cities. And we were speaking about the immigrants earlier. Uh, Immigration. You handle immigration as well, right?
I do a little bit, a little bit. A lot of that is very, very specialized, and there's always some different types of issues that you may not realize.
Right,
Um,
right,
but I have done some immigration, and sometimes you get good results. You get people over here that really want to be here. Do it
right,
the right way. Do it the right way.
right, right. It is, but it's real technical with immigration, is what
It
you're
is
saying,
very
right?
technical. A lot of paperwork.
A lot of paperwork. I seen it.
Yeah.
I seen it. And also, right. So we're gonna go into this real quick. What do you think about the Donald Trump case? What do you with Rudy Giuliani and what is it, 18 others or 17 others, but with Rudolph Giuliani and Donald Trump. Rudy Giuliani implicated the RICO Act. He implicated that. He didn't create it, but he implicated it and he used it to take down a few guys in New York City that was handling, doing what they were doing in New York City. And he's facing it now. So what do you think on that? What do you think?
Well, he's got a couple indictments that he's under right now.
Right.
Um, I don't know. It seems like the most serious is either the one involving the January 6th stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that
the one in Georgia, I think is pretty significant also for the election. The election
voter,
fraud.
yeah, election fraud. Yeah.
So,
What about I've heard they found top secret
oh, the documents, yeah,
documents at his house.
in Florida,
Like
yeah.
it's, yeah. So
So, I'd like to think that he, he'll be able to face trial, and it'll be a fair thing, and in my opinion, hopefully he'll get convicted. But
right.
I
I'm
just
saying so you wouldn't run with Donald Trump. You against you're not against him. Yo, a lot of
he's
people are with him.
he's very bad to his lawyers, so I don't know that.
Oh, he would. Yeah, you a lawyer, so you can see. Yeah, you can see how he throw him in the garbage and
Yeah,
run him over and move on.
right. But I don't know. I think it may be difficult for them to get convictions. It
Yeah,
just seems like it's something that just they may have just done. Hopefully, they didn't do it just for political reasons, and
right,
hopefully the process will play out and justice will be served. But I
right.
just don't know.
I don't think they'll ever lock a U.S. president up. Like not in jail. I don't think he'll go to jail. Maybe they'll stop him or slow him up from running for this next term, which he's trying to run for. But I don't think they'll ever put him behind bars. I don't think in public eye you can't. I don't think they have the they wouldn't let a U.S. president, what I mean, go to prison. You know what I mean? He might not be able to run and all that stuff, but not go to prison. He's not going to prison.
I mean, the scary thing is he could probably run again and get close to winning.
Yeah,
That's really
if right now it's looking like it's a lot of people down with him. and not even just like we would think that it's just I'm talking about in the hood though, Mr. Sobel. In the hood is people like, yo, they want him. They want him to be. They don't trust Biden. Like, they don't like the way Biden is running things, and they want him in there.
I always tell people, if you go a half hour outside of Philly,
right,
that's Trump country in any direction.
Yes, any direction you go is Trump country. Yes, it is.
Right?
It is. You go towards Harrisburg, all that is yeah, he got it out there.
Crazy.
So, but they're gonna try to stop him from running. They're gonna try to stop him from running because there's no. I mean, he's gonna win if he come back in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Yeah. My friend Annette says, then those in the hood have been hoodwinked. She said, treason is treason. Treason is treason, no matter who commits it. 45 is the Antichrist. Said he's the Antichrist. Natisha Benderson says, I think Trump is a good businessman, not a good person to head the country. And yeah, you're right. But it's so many ins and outs. But I'm just hearing so many more. They want Trump. Like, I'm like, yo, I don't know what he do, but that's what they want.
Crazy.
But yeah, right. So, I mean, anybody have any more questions? You know, because we've been on for about an hour almost. Yeah, about an hour. You know what I mean? While I got and you do entertainment law as well, or no?
Yeah, I mean, I review contracts and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's a lot of entertainers that watch, and they also they might get in contact with you if you if you can. So we on for an hour. If you can, give them an email, give them an address in Philadelphia and an address in New Jersey. Federal lawyer, PA, and New Jersey attorney John Sobel. Give it to him.
Okay. So my Philly office is at 1500 Walnut on the 20th floor in Philly. My email address is M like Mary, A like Apple, T like Tom, E like Edward 89 at AOL.com. My number in the office is 215-735-7535. My cell is 856-296-90. And I work out at Cherry Hill when I'm in New Jersey.
Yep. So if you guys need him for anything federal or state, you can call him up, email him, or call him. I mean, and man, you didn't even tell us the story with Reed Gasora. We know you know our that's our mayor, and we know you know Reed Gasora. And
he used to work in the court, right? He used to work over in the court in Trenton.
That's right. Yeah.
I remember.
Heavily, he have heavy ties. I mean, I'm gonna thank you for coming on, and we should have. I want you to come on again whenever you get a chance. Come on again and talk your talk. I like your talk. Great points. Some of the folks that come on here, they didn't know because we pushed the date back. They probably didn't know that you were coming on, but he can help you guys out. In law. You know what I mean? So you could tune in the next time we tune in. So I'm going to be out this time. Paul, if you want to bring us out, wherever you at, if you want to get us up out of here, let's get me and John up out of here. Let us go. And I'll see you next time. Thank you a lot for tuning in. And thank you for coming on, John.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Yes, sir. All right.
Take care.
Yes, sir.